I don't care about that. I am just a guy, a libertarian who wants to help the world, and many Jews want to
Hey,
help.
Greg,
And
is the world getting
yeah,
any better?
that's a loaded question.
No,
In
it's not
some
a
ways,
loaded
it
question.
is.
Has the Western world
Poverty is
gotten better
down.
or worse over the last 3 decades? Not the whole world, not global poverty, not the average lifestyle of Africans.
So then what are you talking about then? Pick
I'm
a
asking,
dimension, right?
Well, you want to give me? I'll give you some dimensions. In the Western world, have poverty, obesity, employment, suicide, alcoholism,
Perfect.
drug overdoses, SSRI use.
Let's
Can you
talk
show
about
me a
that.
single? No. You know what, Greg? We're not going to just talk about it. This isn't the Greg show.
It's not about the Jews,
No,
though, right?
no, Greg. You just interrupt every time. And this is the problem. I've given you 10 minutes. You got embarrassed 9 minutes ago with your "it's the Ashkenazi." No, it's not, because you got a whole bunch of examples of Sephardic Jews. And then what do you want to do? And it's so funny because Mads down in the Purple Pill commented on this. It's going to become the Greg show. Why is it that every time we let a Jew up onto the panel, it's, "I'm here, ask me questions"? Is there some kind of genetic predisposition? We know that paranoia, schizophrenia, and narcissism runs rampant amongst a certain group of people. Is that perhaps why you would come into a room and say, "I'm now here. Let's talk about all these things"? There's 10 other people that have been patiently waiting for an hour. But oh wow, I went on a podcast once with Kim Iverson. You've got 11,000 followers. Great. Truth Teller's got 8x that. If we take the combined group of the people on this panel, you're nobody. But you want to make it about you. You want it to be your conversation. Why is that? Why is it has to come back to your angles, your topics? You want to redirect in this route, this route, this route, this route? Why is that? Why do Jews do that? Why have they been kicked out of 109 different countries 1,000 plus times? Have things gotten better or worse? Let's talk about it, you eagerly said. Walk through the mall, Greg. Do people look healthier than they were 30 years ago? Not a chance. Look at culture, Greg. Is the music better or is it worse? Do you remember 30 years ago? Do you remember obese black women at the Oscars grinding on each other while flames are in the background and a whole bunch of people like sycophants sitting there celebrating the beauty of it? Would people have looked at Lizzo 30 years ago and said, "There's a healthy, happy, productive member of society"? No. 30 years ago, did you have trans people reading story time to children and having it clapped about by a bunch of liberals? No. Do you know why? Because only 50 years ago, that would have been labeled a mental illness. That person would have probably been put in an institution. And now I am a bigot for opposing it. Have things gotten better or worse, Greg? You know what I'm now going to do? I'm going to put up a thread that I made about a year ago on how everything's getting worse. Do you know how much worse, Greg? So much worse that if you actually take into account inflation, what you find is that your average person today has less purchasing power for things like eggs, milk, cars, homes than they did during the Great Depression, Greg. Are they getting better or are they getting worse? They're clearly getting worse, which is why suicide is skyrocketing, why Canada is pushing to literally legalize assisted suicide, to normalize it. They want to make it government assisted. Let's put out an advertisement. Are you depressed? Do you want to just end it all? Well, come in and we'll make it extra glorious by making sure you can watch the latest Snow White and the 7 diversity hires as we end your life. Because you're miserable, because everything's getting worse, just like it did where else, Greg? Was it Weimar Germany? Was it in Russia under the Bolsheviks? What do those have in common, Greg? So you can sit there and you can act like an absolute lunatic and say, "I think things are great. Even though literally, according to statistics, to be middle class, you now have to be in the top 10% of income earners. 10%! What does that mean about the 90% below them, Greg? It means that they're impoverished. They are now lower class. You have taken a healthy, productive society that just a couple decades ago looked like Dennis the Menace, with families able to afford a reasonable size home, to send their kid to a school that was safe, that was productive, that had values, like Christianity, Greg, that your religion would suggest our God is burning in a vat of excrement in hell. And because certain groups of people got power, they got to go in and say, "You know what we need to remove from schools and from all the public facilities is that crucifix. Because that crucifix, that is really offensive." Offensive to who, Greg? Is it the people that believe that guy's burning in hell? Wow, I wonder if it is. Do you know what they replaced those crucifixes with, Greg? With LGBT pride flags. with their kids literally put with a rainbow over top of them and march down the street celebrating that they can be a boy or a girl if they want to. Have things gotten better or have they gotten worse, Greg? And you know where that rainbow comes from? Is it weird that the Jewish Oblast has the exact same flag, and that it, oh, by the way, also is the Noahide Law flag? Do you know what the Noahide laws are, Greg? It's everybody being essentially a slave to Jews, which is what Zionism is, which is what I oppose. So if you want to say, are things getting better or worse? They might be getting better for the group of people that is being dumbed down if they should be enjoying slavery, which they shouldn't. And do you know why slavery is bad? Because it's been the people on TV for generations that have been scolding and shaming whites for slavery that was orchestrated disproportionately by the very people that have been doing the oppressing, the very people doing the brainwashing, the very people doing the shaming and guilting. So no more, Greg. People aren't going to listen to it. They're not going to pay attention. You don't get to come in and say, I'm the center of attention, ask me questions. We don't care, Greg. What we care about is making the world better. We're not going to listen to any more liars and lunatics saying oh, you guys are just like feminists trying to find a problem and saying it's all the men. Because like Truth Teller said, they're largely Jewish men, Greg. And so we're going to notice that common denominator. And then when you sit there and say the feminists, and Truth interrupts you and says, who pushed that one, Greg? Was it Jews? Who pushed racial dynamics? Who got rid of Malcolm X? Because he talked about the Jews. Who got rid of Martin Luther King, for what it's worth? And where did he get his ideologies? Was it through literal communists? And where did communism come from, Greg? Have things gotten better or worse? It's not an open-ended question because I'm tired of it, and I'm tired on behalf of everybody in here. It's obnoxious. The continued need and desire to be at the center of everything is obnoxious. It's why Dave Portnoy has to be worshipped and idolized by everybody. And when someone holds up a sign that says, F you people, what is the response? It's for him to try and destroy the very person that dared to have the audacity to hold up the sign in the first place, or at least to sponsor it financially, or whatever his involvement was. But maybe the very behavior that Dave Portnoy is doing is the reason for the sign, Greg. This isn't about anti-Semitism. It's not about hating anybody. It's about being really tired of patterns of psychopathic, narcissistic behavior. That's what Portnoy did, and that's what I believe there's a pattern of, which might relate to that 109 number. And if you want to suggest that it's just crazy talking points, well, then we've got over 1,000 different times where people maybe arrived at a similar conclusion. And so maybe it's time to take a really deep look in the mirror. But guess who probably won't do that? A narcissist. And what would statistics say that you might be? Well, I'll let you finish that equation.